Is crypto about to moon as former President Donald Trump had a dinner with NFT degens? And we had some nice things to say about Bitcoin and crypto. Is it just lip service, or could we potentially see people start to price in a future potential presidency again for Donald Trump? And what does that mean for your bags? We're going to discuss that. Also, ETF flows. Pretty boring day yesterday, but Grayscale, for the first time ever, put up a goose egg. Is that good? Is that bad? We're going to have that discussion. We have some altcoin news to share with you. A giant company just said they have exposure to Bitcoin via the ETF. Which company is that? And what is the potential, and what are some other companies to keep an eye on? Also, there is one exchange that got that coveted special broker-dealer license from the SEC. It wasn't Robinhood. It wasn't Coinbase. Who was it, and what does that mean? Is that good or bad? We're going to take a look at the markets, some charts, and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, and, well, stale information, repackage that whole thing up in a fun, sexy way. Today is the beginning of
Thursday.
the next leg up.
You know, how was your flight back from Mar-a-Lago yesterday?
Mar-a-Lago.
Did you go to the dinner?
I did not. Did you go?
Did you hear about it?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Let's talk about the dinner.
There it is.
Yeah.
What did they serve? Turkey?
I don't know. That's a good question. A bunch of NFT degens there, so probably a bunch of Monsters, Red Bulls, maybe some pastries. Anyways, so former President Donald Trump, is he pro-crypto? Is he giving lip service? I don't know. Let's talk about it. So there's a article here. Between days in court, Donald Trump will meet crypto enthusiasts for his NFT dinner. Now, if you remember, when he sold his mugshot NFT, if you bought a certain amount, you got automatically invited to a dinner at his home in Florida, which, you know, pretty cool experience getting able to meet a president, whether that's a president you like or don't like. Still kind of cool. Purchasers of a mugshot NFT released by Donald Trump reported they plan to meet the former United States president at his Florida residence for dinner. Robin, I need you to pay attention to this part. There are some Hexicans that are going to be there. Damn it. We're supposed to send our best. What do you think they said? Listen, Mr. Trump, you should really, if you win presidency, you should give Richard Hart, the most amazing person in all to grace this planet Earth. You should, make sure he doesn't go to jail. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny that it was in this article. There was a lot of people there. Forget the number, but a couple of video clips. This was posted by our friend Forrest. So listen to this, and then we have another one of someone in the crowd asking him a question about U.S. companies leaving the U.S. or crypto companies leaving the U.S. This is the first one here.
They are against it. The Biden doesn't even know what it is. If you ask Biden, sir, are you for or against crypto? What's that? What the? Get me off the stage. He's saying, get me off the stage. No, he has no idea. But look, Gensler is very much against it. The Democrats are very much against it. And I say this, a lot of people are very much for it, probably a lot of the people in this group. And I'm fine with it. I want to make sure it's good and solid and everything else, but I'm good with it. And if you like crypto in any form, and it comes in a lot of different forms, if you're in favor of crypto, you better vote for Trump.
So he says, I'm fine with it. Then he says, I want to make sure it's solid. What do you kind of take away from that? You take away he's not really. So let's just get this straight. He didn't really endorse it, right? He wasn't say, hey, I'm pro crypto. I think crypto, he's not RFK where he came out and said, hey, look, we believe in blockchain technology. Here's what I think we should do if I get elected president. He's kind of like, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Just want to make sure it's solid, which, is like, hey, is he gonna get into office if he wins and try to get some regulation in there that's unfavorable to our space? A lot of people are saying this is lip service. 99.9% of politicians, what they say is lip service, and that is Donald Trump included.
But the thing is that you typically don't say, hey, we lean this direction. This is what we want to do. And then go the complete opposite direction. Right. And so whether or not he ends up being pro crypto, he ends up ushering in a new SEC chair that he directs to say, hey, look, I want crypto regulation here done now that's beneficial for the growth of crypto here in the United States. I don't know if he'll go that far. I think that's kind of where you're alluding to. Like, hey, is he gonna all of a sudden be pro crypto in the same way as RFK? That I don't know, but I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna pull a 180. Right. I don't think that you're gonna get a president that's out here being vocal, saying, "Hey, if you're a fan of crypto," because it was his last sentence. He said, "If you're pro crypto or you're a fan of crypto, then vote for me." Right? That's basically what he was saying. So, with that said, I don't think he's going to 180, and I don't think that you're going to.
But is that really a vote of confidence? Was that a vote of confidence?
But what's the other option? You vote an administration that literally came out yesterday and said, "Hey, we don't. We're going to veto. We'll veto anything that's progressive on regulation." Right?
Yeah. And I was having that conversation with JD in the chat before we went live. It's like, hey, a lot of people think that Trump is going to do this and that, and do I think it's lip service? Sure. Yeah, I do. But it's like, are you going to vote for a person or are you going to believe a person who's maybe giving lip service or a person who is actually showing you how they feel with actions? Now, does that mean that if Trump gets in office and he does a complete 180, is that out of the question? Absolutely not. Politicians do that all the time. I don't know. I think it's less likely. It's like
the dude said he's going to build a wall. It's not like he all of a sudden like eased up regulations to come into the country. And so, he said we're going to have a war with China. It's not like all of a sudden he's all like, you know what, this China thing, we're just going to completely open up the borders for trade. And so I disagree with you, bro. I genuinely think if you say I'm going to be pro crypto, if you're in favor of crypto, vote for me. I do not believe he's going to come into office in 180. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Now, whether or not he is kind of asleep at the wheel and doesn't do anything, sure, I think that is a real possibility. But I don't think all of a sudden you're going to get anti-crypto Trump once he gets in office. Dude's already made a lot of money on crypto. He's sold many NFTs. He's sitting on a bunch of the Trump token or whatever it is. And I'm sorry, dude. If you are pro crypto, outside of what your personal thoughts are on him, outside if you think he's a good world leader, outside if he knows how to get in front of a podium and not say dumb crap, all of that pushed aside, from a straight analytical perspective, who is going to be more beneficial for the crypto industry? Will it be Joe Biden or Donald Trump? I'm sorry, the answer is Trump. We've seen what happened. Biden yesterday, literally 24 hours ago, the executive branch said, "Hey, if you pass this vote that's supposed to put a brakes on the SEC's overreach of power, if you mess with this, if you pass that law, I'm going to veto it." Yeah. And so, like, the answers are very simple. Like, now, from just an anecdotal perspective, who is going to be more beneficial for crypto? I'm sorry, it's Trump. I think the dude is a buffoon when it comes to his how he addresses the public media. I think he's unhinged. I think that there is a host of problems having dude in office. Like, I'm not at all a giant advocate for Trump, but when it comes from a perspective of my portfolio and this industry, that's the man you need to go with.
I mean, we've literally built an entire business and spent all of our money for this industry, right? And so to us, of course, this is important. And for you, if you're storing your wealth in crypto or Bitcoin, or if you've maybe built a business around cryptocurrency, I'm not saying I'm not telling you what to do or be a one issue voter, but it's something definitely you should consider. And the whole RFK thing, if he was in one of the two parties, Democrat or Republican, he would be the front runner for me, right? Because he doesn't just say, oh, I'm okay with it. He actually says, hey, I like it. This is why. This is how I think we can implement it. Great. It's just historically speaking, third-party independent candidates just don't have a chance. It sucks. I don't like it, but it's just the rules of the game right now until something changes. And then this was interesting. Someone was picked on to ask a question to President Trump, and listen to this exchange.
Thank you for the statement. Yeah, with the goggles on.
A lot of the smartest people in crypto are
Okay, first of all, these are not goggles. These are shades. Anyways.
moving their businesses out of the U.S. because they're scared of the U.S.'s regulations.
Because of the hostility.
Correct.
Yeah, crypto is moving out of the U.S. because of hostility toward crypto.
Correct. So what are you going to do to stop it?
Well, we'll stop it because I don't want that. I don't want that. I want that. If we're going to embrace it, we have to let them be here.
Yes, sir.
Sweet goggles, man.
Thank you for this.
So interesting.
Are we going to embrace it? We're going to embrace it? Going to embrace? I can't.
You want a hug? Is that what you want?
I don't know. He wants to embrace the crypto industry. You know what we need? We need some more. We need the crypto degens at the executive office. Like whoever went to the NFT.
Ryan Selkis from Masari, he was actually brought up to speak, and Mihailo, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, co-founder of Polygon, he was invited up there at the podium to speak. So we had two native crypto people from our space, one from Polygon, one from Masari. They were up there and they spoke at the podium. It was pretty cool.
But what I'm saying is that dude with the goggles and the other NFT interesting characters, we should get these people at the press room for the executive office. You know what I'm talking about?
Press secretary?
The press secretary. You know how the press secretary, she gets up to the podium every day and says,
Yeah.
"Oh, Biden did this." And
Yeah, we should have some, and they can give an update on the prices.
And let's just put an NFT goon in the audience there as one of the press, and then
I see what you're saying.
and then have them ask questions in the same way, because then you can be like, "Hey man, does Gary Gensler," because the dude would have the goggles on, he'd be like, "Gensler feel like it's bad. Innovation going elsewhere." But honestly, I mean, all jokes aside, it's a legitimate question. It might not be framed in a professional manner, but it's a legitimate question. Hey, the crypto industry has been attacked repeatedly here in the United States. And anyone building a crypto company is incentivized to do so outside of the United States, right? And so technology, this coming of fintech, crypto, this is supposed to be the next internet age, right? We talk about putting things on a blockchain, real world assets. There's lots of things that are coming. And the fact that the fact that this is the next area or the next future, then it's going elsewhere, man. Why can't we just stay here, dude? I don't know.
I do want to show this chart. So, the whole thing is Trump going to pump the markets? He kind of did pump the market. Well, at least the Trump token, he pumped it. So this thing was yesterday was at $4.30. When after his little speech, it rallied all the way up to $7.62. I know a lot of people from our community, this project was put on their map. Big thank you to our friend Forrest. He really hit a home run on this one. This is actually my first 100x in the crypto space. Absolutely amazing. It is currently rallying, right? So we know why, obviously, Trump token. But can we see something similar leading up to the election as people start to speculate and try to front run as polling numbers come out? If there's polls that come out, Donald Trump is in the lead. People are like, oh my God, I think he's going to win. Crypto's about to moon. Let me pile in. The last $500 I had set aside. Now is the time. Let me borrow some money or whatever the case. I'm not saying do any of this, of course. Whatever the case, can we see similar price movement that we saw from this one token, right? That literally went up 60, 70% in a matter of a few hours. Can we see that expand across the rest of the space as the election draws closer? I don't know. What are your thoughts, Robin? Any industry, any traders, they try to front run narratives. They try to front run news, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. The whole idea stands behind that, right? So with what we saw with this token, you think we can see something similar as the election draws closer and maybe some favorable polling numbers come out for, let's say, Donald Trump or anyone who's pro crypto?
I mean, I'll never again dismiss meme coins as, well, I mean, there's really nothing to it, nothing behind it. And so, sure. Will this one be the one that pops off? Will there be another presidential coin? Will it be a political coin? Maybe we get a Democrat coin, or maybe we get a Republican coin.
We do have a Joe Biden coin.
Yeah, we got the Joe Biden. I'm just saying.
But my question is more, Rob, my question more is on the industry as a whole, not just meme coins. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, all of it, right?
I think that every time that the question is going to be proposed, and here's the thing, the problem is that there's not that typical debate that we've had from the previous election, right? I think Joe Biden said he's not going to attend the debates. Is that correct? From what I remember hearing was that he's not going to go and entertain the debates. He's not going to stand at the podium and be on the other side as Trump. But Trump is going to be making some press conferences, and I'm sure he's going to be taking on questions. And the questions on crypto arise, as I think it makes for even if you have no interest in crypto, it always makes for a very interesting answer, right? It always makes for an interesting question answer. You got the presidential candidate there. Like, what do you think about Bitcoin? What do you think about its regulation? What do you think about crypto, the SEC? You're going to get a very polarizing answer. Yeah. So even if you have no interest in crypto, I'm talking about from a journalistic perspective, Fox News, and we see that CNBC, they love doing that. And they get anybody that has some connection to crypto. They love asking a Bitcoin question because they know that it's going to drive views. It's going to be played on a lot of social media platforms afterwards. And so every time Gary Gensler sits down for an interview, even though he's the SEC chair and his primary goal is to...
Sorry to cut you off, Rob, but you can tell the last interview Gary did with CNBC, it kind of seemed like he was tired of getting all these crypto questions. Like, well, every time I'm here, you always ask me a Bitcoin.
But why is he getting those questions? Think about it. Why are they asking him those questions? It's a very simple answer. The reason he's getting these questions is that the viewers enjoy it, right? And they know they're going to get a lot of plays. They know that we're going to cover it, and 1,000 other YouTube channels are also going to cover it, and small media channels are going to cover it. And then you're also going to have things like Yahoo Finance and all of the publications on the internet. Are also going to weigh in on it. And at the bottom of all of these, it says interview at CNBC, and so it drives views, and it's a very interesting narrative that is very polarizing. And so, with that said, there's going to be questions on crypto in this coming up election when it comes to taking questions from the media.
I'm sorry, I'm reading. I agree with you, by the way. I agree with you. It's like, you're trying to get people on your platform, whether you're legacy media, whether you're on YouTube, you're trying to get people to watch. And what do people want to know about? It's crypto.
Well, if you're a journalist or reporter, when you have 2 questions, 3 questions, so you're trying to get the most bang for your buck. You're like, okay, what question can I ask? It's gonna be really good here. Which one is the boss gonna be proud of? And so the crypto questions are coming. So in a very long roundabout way of answering your question, with that preface, with that said, this election, crypto questions are coming. Every time one of those are answered, and it's a positive or a bullish statement, because Biden's not going to be at the podium much, from my understanding. And so it's going to be just Trump. And Trump's going to be sitting at the podium, and he gets asked a crypto question. He's not going to shoot it down. He's not going to say no. He just came out yesterday and said, look, if you're pro-crypto, vote for me. So you know where he stands. So every time he gets a question on Bitcoin regulation and cryptocurrency, he is going to be positive for the space. And every time he utters those words, every time he has that answer, every time he's asked a question, it's going to be bullish signal for crypto.
Yeah.
It's going to be crypto's going to pump, Bitcoin's going to move, and that's what we're going to see in the next, say, 3-4 months.
94 clips. 94 clips said Biden said, "Vote for me, I'll raise your taxes." He did. Funny. Ashley, I'm curious. I know it's kind of, I don't know if the correct word is voodoo, but you don't typically talk about who you're going to vote for. Would you like to tell us, are you going to vote for Joe Biden or Trump, or you got a candidate
Yeah, that's
That's a nice question to ask.
yeah.
Thank you.
You can answer later if you'd like.
I'm not gonna vote for Biden.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'll say that, I guess.
You can leave it at that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be the same. It's like, well, I hate this guy, but I hate him more.
Hey, David, question. What's your stance on abortion here?
Listen, abortion is-
Like, we're going to open up with a good one here.
I know.
How about an
Like, it
introduction?
took you 20
Ashley, how are you doing today? You know?
Thank you. It took you 20 minutes to realize that I'm here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
hello?
You know?
And then that's the question you open up with?
Yeah. So,
You're
about
Anyways.
You're Ashley now. You're not Gravy Train.
What about
Gravy
the-
Train would have gotten a better question.
Roe versus Wade, David? You gonna just leave that on the table?
Listen here, the states deserve to. I'm just kidding. All right. Every day is an anniversary of something, right? Whether it's the anniversary of the day you met your wife, the anniversary of when Sam Bankman-Fried pulled the rug on all of us. Well, today is the anniversary of the famous tweet, "Deploying more capital, steady lads," from Mr. Do Kwon himself. May 9th, 2022. This is what started pretty much everything, right? This is where everything started going under. Then we had Voyager, we had Celsius, and then, of course, a few months later, we had FTX, and then everything crumbled. And so on this anniversary, we just want to remember 2 years ago today that
Deploying more capital.
steady lads.
That was the lightning strike right there, right?
I think it was a little
Because
more,
remember, if you
a little worse than a lightning strike.
So it was a lightning strike that sparked the fire, right? It kind of like, you had the fuel there. You think about these forest fires, the ones that get out of control, the ones in California or in the Northwest, the ones that you see on the news. Hey, these fires a lot of times are sparked by lightning, right? And the fuel is there. The fuel is there. You have all this underbrush there. Everything's ready to go. All you need is the spark, and then
Do Kwon.
Do Kwon comes out. Well, actually, it was Do Kwon comes out, lost a peg, deploying more capital, and I tell you that was the lightning strike. Everything else just burned from there. It started that little fire. That thing burned. It went state to state. The whole Midwest was on fire, bro. The whole thing.
He lost the peg, and, well, people got pegged. Let's talk about ETF flows. So, pretty boring day yesterday. This is from CoinGlass. Yesterday, 0 from Grayscale. Robin, no outflows, no inflows. Well, there probably was, but not enough to create the shares, right? So, 0. iBit, BlackRock 0, Fidelity 0, ARK 0. Bitwise brought in 11 million. Everything else was 0. So pretty boring day. If we take a look at what happened in Hong Kong brought in around 6 million, right? 6 million US dollars. This was yesterday. And so 6 million from Hong Kong. And then in the US, it was, what was the US I just said? US was 11.5 million. So pretty flat day. But we did have some big news here. Insurance giant MassMutual reports exposure to Bitcoin, the ETFs in their 13F filing. We have been saying this is going to continue to happen, and it is continuing to happen. And MassMutual, if you're not familiar, guys, one of the largest insurance companies with over 11,000 employees, $10.7 billion in revenue, and $466 billion in assets under management. Now, I couldn't find the amount, so if anyone watching, if you know what the amount was, or if you have it somewhere, please throw it in the chat. We don't know what percent, and once we get that amount, we'll figure out what percentage of their AUM that they actually put in Bitcoin. But Robin, this is, I mean, it's just another another stack, right? Another layer to get to that place where we're going to get to a point where Bitcoin's price is really going to have no choice but to go up, because as more and more of these companies who have billions, they can deploy $1 billion like that, bro. You know what? Let's put like 0.1% in a Bitcoin. What do we got to lose, right? Okay, 0.1%, $2 billion. Multiply that by however many companies. Multiply that by the people that are holding Bitcoin that haven't sold in the last year, around 70%. Multiply that by people like Michael Saylor, who will continue to buy wherever the price is. Multiply that by the rest of retail that is going to come in. Multiply that by the miners mining 450 Bitcoin instead of 900. Multiply that by everything going on in the government, the currency debasement all around the globe. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me, right? I mean, am I crazy here?
I mean, right? We've been talking about it all year. Talking about the
It's just you
ETFs,
keep
the
talking
halving.
about it, but like you look at the price. I'm not saying me personally, but people watching, we talk about it, and they're like, "Well, the price isn't doing anything." There's going to come a point, guys. There's going to come a point where there's no other way, right? There is no other way to go than up. That's just my.
Yeah, I mean, we just routinely remind you. Essentially, this is what we're doing here, right? We constantly looking at the data, and with Bitcoin having a finite supply, with the amount that is being mined recently being cut in half, with the ETFs here in the United States and abroad with Hong Kong, and don't forget there are still ETFs in Australia and Brazil, and companies' exposure, or at least their comfort to exposure, is ever growing, right? In 2018, 2019, companies wouldn't buy Bitcoin. It was too much of a risk. It was too unknown. It wasn't known if it wasn't an everyday thing where like, hey, Bitcoin, it's where does it get its price from? Instead of it saying it's a scam, you don't hear that very often anymore. Instead of people saying it's a scam, it's a Ponzi scheme, there's still some people that are out here saying that. But more or less,
Elizabeth Warren.
Majority of the people out here, majority of investors are coming out and they understand that it's not a scam, it's not a Ponzi scheme, and it's here to stay. At least there's that, right? And whether or not you feel comfortable investing in it is kind of where people stand. And then I think the biggest thing is, well, where does it get its money from? Where does it get its price from? And I think that is kind of the biggest thing now. And if that's all you got, to go against Bitcoin and crypto is where does it get its price from, instead of it being it's fake, it's made up, it's whatever, that means they believe in it. It's just the price is a little too volatile. And so companies, little by little, are getting exposure to Bitcoin. And, well, soon they'll add other cryptos to it as well.
Who else is getting exposure? Well, you know what, Robin? Why don't you take a second to looking at our like ratio here? It's not.
Okay. If you are new here, say hello. We'd love to give you a shout out. A couple new people. We got Sugar, We Going Down 91, Trust the Lies, 3 Doc, all set. Also, we have 94 Clips. I know he's been here a few times as well. And then Chris T. And also, shout out to Lucky Luke and Alina, Nate, all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Hola, hola. Okay, let's talk about some giants here. Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and other top U.S. banks are testing shared ledger technology for tokenized asset settlement. Now, this is a narrative, a space that we talk about all the time, which is RWA, real world asset tokenization. There's a few projects that are really leading the space. Ondo Finance comes to mind. Ethereum, Layer 1 comes to mind. Hedera comes to mind. Avalanche comes to mind. Which, by the way, tomorrow's video, I'll be ranking the top 10 Layer 1 altcoins. There's going to be some surprises in there. Some of you might love me. Some of you might hate me, but it's going to be a good video. But it's just the reason I'm showing this is because while some people look at their portfolio or look at the price, and the only thing they do is they say, well, price hasn't gone up, it must be a dead project. Or crypto market has been trading sideways, nothing is happening. Things are happening. You just got to pay attention to the right things, and you got to watch our show. But this is interesting. We're going to curious to see what the inner workings of this are. How is it going to work? What chain are they going to use? We don't have that information yet, but we do know certain asset classes take mortgages, right? Mortgage-backed securities. You're talking about 10, 20 trillion dollar asset class that could potentially be moved onto the blockchain. And the beauty of it is blockchain never sleeps, right? It doesn't need a central entity to settle and write down ledger or input information manually. It all happens via the consensus mechanism. And so it's able to run 24 hours a day. And guess what? Fees are also going to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Revenue is expanded from these companies. What do they do with the revenue? Do they buy back shares? Do they invest in the company? Do they hire more employees? There's trickle-down effects to things than just this token price went up, or, oh, that's kind of cool. No, it has cascading effects. And in this case, in my opinion, they're going to be positive. I do want to, before we move forward, I do want to give a big shout out to today's channel sponsor, Radix. Today's show is brought to you by Radix, a top layer one DeFi in our space. We had their CEO, Pierce Ridyard, on the show yesterday doing a lot of cool things. One that I was very intrigued by was their seedless wallet integration. And so if you're like me, you have tons of different wallets, and it's pretty annoying having to keep a sheet of 12 to 24 words for every wallet. And so we're excited for Radix. We're happy to have them as a channel sponsor. So big shout out to Radix. If you want to learn more about their project or what's going on in their ecosystem, visit radixdlt.com. There is a link in the description of this video. Robin, let's talk about a hot layer 2. Doesn't have a token, but it's pretty hot. So getting a lot of hype here. So that layer 2 is Base. Franklin Templeton just put out a whole paper talking about its Base season. One of the most adopted layer 2s on Ethereum is Base, launched in February of 2023 by Coinbase, the largest publicly traded U.S. crypto exchange. Base is a layer 2 built using the Optimism stack and secured by ETH. Kind of goes on to say Base has seen a significant rise in activity primarily driven by Base meme coins. Gives some charts on fees, USDC supply on Base. So pretty interesting stuff. You also have this from Matt Hogan, who will be joining our show, I believe, next week or in 2 weeks. Super excited to have him on. This is the CIO of Bitwise. I believe he's the CIO. Yes, the CIO of Bitwise. Base is a sleeping giant. Well, guess who just did a video on Base? We did.
Is that you?
That's me. And so in this video, I talk about Base.
So
What are some of the things to look out for? I highlight a few projects here that you should definitely put on your radar. And so, guys, I would highly, highly recommend, if you haven't watched this video, after the show is over, and I'll drop the link to this, I'll drop this link in the chat here. But do yourselves a favor, go watch that video. There's going to be a lot more people coming into the Base ecosystem. You're going to see a lot more write-ups. Although Base doesn't have a token, that gives even more opportunity to be able to get into the Base ecosystem and make money. So, what are your thoughts on Base there, Robin? You excited about Base?
Love me Base, bro. Now, this is very interesting, right? It's almost like a counter to the BNB, right? But done in a way where you don't have a token, and minus the manipulation of the token, and so there's obviously manipulation of the BNB, right? And we saw how many people were building in Binance chain last bull cycle, right? It was tons of activity. If it wasn't on Ethereum, it was pretty much found on BNB, right? If you weren't using Uniswap, you were using PancakeSwap. And then later on, towards the tail end of the bull market, the last bull market, is when we saw other layer ones and smart contracts come into play, and other dApps being built and communities coming around. But in the early days, in the early 2021, it was either Ethereum or Binance. I think that community is more or less diminished, right? It's kind of fizzled away. And I think that what we saw last bull market, we will see out of Coinbase's base chain. I think we'll see that this bull market. And I think the big reason behind it is the fact that, well, there's no token to speculate on. So it's almost like Coinbase's gift to crypto is saying, hey, look, here's a way you can transact with Ethereum and other connected networks, and you can do it for a lot cheaper. And you don't need to buy a bunch. You don't need to buy the BNB token, or you don't need to buy a base token and speculate on it. And we don't need to, you can just use it, and it makes crypto adoption a little bit easier.
Speculate on the
seamless.
ecosystem.
Yeah. Now, with that said, I think that ecosystem, well, we remember what happened last bull market when BNB, when BNB was going through its rise and it had tons of activity, tons of dApps, and everyone was on PancakeSwap. We saw a ton of projects launching there. We saw a ton of meme coins on Binance chain. We saw a ton of millionaires be made by getting into projects on Binance, and that was the hot spot to be. I think that is coming for Coinbase or for Base, and we've already gotten a taste of it, right? We've already seen it. And I think it's going to catapult. It's going to go parabolic. I think that you might want to start paying attention to Base. You might want to say, hey, what are the projects here that are catching traction? And if you're curious, go check out our last video. We dropped that, yesterday, right?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think if you snooze on Base this bull market, you're gonna miss out on a lot of potential. It's almost like if we were doing this show in the middle of the bear market, say we were doing it a year ago, say we were 1 year, 3 months ago, and we were saying, guys, the Solana ecosystem is where you want to start identifying projects. Just get exposure to anything in Solana. All the major projects on Solana are going to make you money. Solana's at $40. Don't sleep on Solana. The meme coins on Solana are going to be crazy. If that was me 1 year, 3 months ago, you'd be looking at this now and saying, damn it, why didn't I pick up some projects on Solana ecosystem? That is what's going to happen to Base, man. And I think that right now, we've already gotten a taste of it. We've already seen it, and it's going to accelerate. So pay attention to what's going on Base because you're going to get left behind.
Watch our video.
Yes.
Speaking of watching our videos, did you guys watch our other video we did on top 5 altcoins? Let me share a little story here with you guys. So we did a video on April 30th. It was this video. I'm buying these 5 altcoins right now. And of course, nothing we say is financial advice, but maybe, just maybe, we piqued your curiosity here into a token called Energy Web Token. And it is currently sitting at $3.62. When we made the video, it was this is when we made the video, okay? So this is a chart here. We made the video on April 30th, and price was around $2.54. It is currently at $3.60. And so this is a token, and this is part of the video at around the 25-minute, 25-second mark, where we talk about why we're bullish on Energy Web Token, big ties to BlackRock. I go over all of that in this video. And so this is something that you guys should keep your eye on. I mean, if you watched that video and you decided to dig in, thought the project was cool, got some exposure to it, you'd be up over 50% by now. So shout out to those of you that did. I know I did. So shout out to me. Rocco, can I get a round of applause for myself? Did you cut him off or did he cut it off? You pressed the button and it stopped.
I guess stop. Yeah,
You guys are haters.
I can try it again. Let me try. This
You
one
see,
is gonna.
Ashley, you
It's
see why they're
okay.
hating on me?
You want
No
you
one
want
gives
a pat. You literally want a pat on the back. You literally want a pat on the back. Like
Ashley,
literally
literally
the
that every once in
definition
a while. Isn't it nice to get a pat on the back every once in a while?
But you can't give it to yourself.
No
I'm
one else
sorry.
is giving it to me.
Let me
Because
give
you
it
don't
to you
need it.
right now. Hold on. Okay, I got it ready. That's it.
There you go. That was good.
Was that an Italian clap?
Yes.
My boy Chase got me. Chase, be ready to step in. Rocco's getting fired. Anyways, yeah, that was
I
pretty
got the
good. Rob,
trombone. I know you like the trombone.
trombone's great. Good thing we got rid of it, right? Oh, we didn't get rid of it. Great. Robin, let's take a look at the rest of the markets. I know Bitcoin's kind of choppy down. I think last time I saw was at 62,000.
It's going down and to the right on the weekly, But if you take a look at where we came in at the beginning, 7 days ago, we were under 60,000. So, pretty good movement. If you zoom out a little bit, you can see that we went down. We tested 57. I think the 60K is the big, obviously large psychological number. 60K, as long as that holds, I think it's going to be very strong support. Do you feel comfortable that 60K holds? Do you feel comfortable that
Very comfortable.
you do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to be.
So, yeah, I mean,
Robin,
I thought we would be a little higher at this time at the end of the week.
that's okay, man.
But
we're building strong levels of support. I mean, if you look at BTC on the daily here, we're in a downtrend, right? We're in the downtrend, at least on the daily. If we throw on our cloud, we broke below the cloud again, which is bearish. But again, like, you want to see how price reacts to certain levels, right? And we can see here, and you see these big wicks. We had a big wick down about 61K. This was back on April 13th. And we shot right back up to 63.9. And we had another big wick. This was on April 19th, wick down to 59. That was the big 10K candle. And we actually closed green. Wick down to sub 57K. The next 4 candles were green, went back into the cloud, but we didn't make a higher high. And so we're technically still in a downtrend. But guys, and I say this all the time, and I will continue to say it again, outside of just price, nothing has changed. If anything, it's gotten better, right? It's gotten better. And so I'm not worried, man. To me, I look at these as opportunities. Any big correction in a bull market is an opportunity to DCA in. Me personally, I don't know about you watching and what your thesis is and your investment strategy is. But for me, I don't ever want to stop buying Bitcoin. I used to save all my savings and my retirement in US dollar or dollar assets. Once you change your thought process of, I know we talk about all the time, Bitcoin's at 60,000, 70,000, 100,000. But if you think in terms of Bitcoin or sats, in 10 years, what can 0.25 Bitcoin buy me? If it could buy you more than what can buy you today, then you're making a good choice by putting your wealth in Bitcoin. And so that's the thesis I'm under. And so for me, like I said, short-term price action does not bother me. It does not bother me, especially when, unless something fundamentally changes, which it hasn't. If anything, it's gotten better, right? It's gotten more decentralized. It's gotten a lot more adoption. I will never not be bullish on Bitcoin again, unless something crazy happens or something fundamentally changes. So, but yeah, as far as the price here, the area we need to reclaim, really, guys, is a 66.8 level. If we can break above that 66.8 level, and I'll drop a horizontal line here. If we can break above the 66.8 level, you can see how price reacted. We dip below here on the 2nd of April. And then we had a nice rally after we reclaimed this level of around 10.5, call it 11%. Same thing here, right? On March 19th, we had this candle. It opened at 67,000 and it closed at 61,900. And the very next day, we broke above and closed above it. So we got back everything we gave away. And then, so this is a key level. Also, if we reclaim this level, 66.8, we would have put in a higher high, potentially breaking the downtrend of BTC. And if you take a look at, I'll get rid of this, and we take a look at our price action concepts here on Luxalgo. And that is also a level where we see a lot of money coming in. Around 109,000 Bitcoin was traded at this level. Now, more of that was in shorts or selling, but obviously price reacted that way. And so what will it look like then? Who knows? But what we do know is we're currently in this fair value gap between around $59,800 and $62,400. So historically, these fair value gaps are great places to pick up Bitcoin. If we take a look here back in the early March, we wicked down to this fair value gap around 59,000, and then we rallied to all-time highs to around 73, 74K. And so, although short term, if we zoom out to the weekly, Bitcoin still looks bullish, man. Again, fair value gap got scooped up pretty nicely here last week, actually. Wow, that was pretty good. Got down to that 56K, got pulled back into the to above that. So, bullish on BTC. What is the altcoin market like?
So Akash is up tremendously today.
GH.
So taking a look, you got the Akash network up 17%, up 22 on the week. I was trying to see if there was any bullish news coming up on Akash. I didn't see anything stood out to me, but
I have some, Robin.
what you got?
Here you go. Let's swap over to this little Betty here. AI crypto coins rally begins ahead of NVIDIA's May 22nd earnings. And so Akash was one of them.
Okay, so it's just kind of the AI sector.
Yeah, AI sector, speculation.
Because also you got Render and Arweave both up as well. And so, we are missing the Singularity Net and the other guys. But Akash, Render, Arweave, all up. So,
I'm just looking at the AI sector here, right? It says coin market cap. By the way, I think ICP should be in this category. I don't know why it isn't. It's the only one that can run a complete smart contract, AI smart contract on their platform. But nonetheless, right? Near protocol up 2%. Render, as you mentioned, Robin, up 9%. Bytensor, or however you say it.
did you say Biden, sir?
Biden censored.
Biden, sir.
That is up. That's pretty null, right? Up 0.75% over the last hour, but pretty flat on the day the day. Theta Network, they just came out with their Edge Cloud. Once that starts to get adoption, what can we see? The text to video there on AI, that could be pretty massive for not just content creators, but for people running a business. And so, the whole AI sector as a whole is up 3.25%. But is there anything on here, maybe a little further down the list, Robin, that you kind of have your eye on? Or maybe any of the top ones here? I mean, it's all about
These are the
narrative.
AI plays, right?
These are AI, yeah. And I would also, again, I would add ICP to this list.
I'm very curious to see, and I know it's not on the list, but very curious to see what the ASI token's going to do, right? The token that is going to be the merge.
The superhero token.
Yeah, the superhero token. And so you're going to have Singularity Net, Ocean Protocol, and Fetch AI, all three coming together, all going to be under one token. Basically, you have the three. Ocean Protocol, not really in the very, very top of the AI tokens, but Singularity Net and Fetch AI, they're at the top of the pack here as far as more a market cap, community adoption, kind of just a household name in the crypto circles at least. Those are the ones that stand out, and they're all those two were pooling together. They threw Ocean Protocol in there as well. It seems like a no-brainer, right? Like if you were and remember that a lot of this is the size of your network is what powers AI, the size of your network. And so if you have a small team and you have a small company, sure, you can make some innovative outside of AI. If you got a small team, you got a good idea, you got some smart people there, you guys are building, who knows? You could take over the world. That's not how AI works, though. AI, you need a massive amount of compute. You need a massive amount of graphic cards, or at least the comparable units that can handle the processing power needed for AI. You need a ton of it. And so the three of these projects coming together, putting the resources together, gives them such an advantage over the competition. It's night and day. And if you sleep on this ASI token, you're going, once again, sleep on base, you're going to be regretting it. Sleep on ASI token, you're going to regret it. Because when this thing goes live, I don't know if it's going to break out. I don't know if when it starts listing or when it starts trading, how much is going to move. Maybe you wait for a quick pullback. Maybe there's a sell-off because all of a sudden the three tokens come together and you're up 40% because you had Ocean Protocol conversion rate pops up in your favor. I don't know. I don't know what the price is going to do in the very short term for the ASI token when it goes live, but I'll tell you what. You find an entry position there, because if you miss out on it, you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt. That is going to be my strongest performing crypto this bull market. You heard it here. Top 100 strongest performing crypto ASI token by a mile.
Very interesting to see. We know it's the numbers that came out with 7.5 billion fully diluted, about $2.85 per coin. Take a look at where those coins are in price wise. So go away. Go back here. So you have Fetch is at $2.24. And then if we go down the list, Singularity is at 94 cents. And then Ocean Protocol is at also 94 cents. And so we know the ratios are around 0.43 coins for every one you have on Ocean and Singularity Net. And then for Fetch, it's 1-to-1. And so if I have 1,000 Fetch token, and they're currently worth $2,200. If I get airdropped, or if I swap it out for 1,000 ASI tokens, that's now worth $2,850. So there's an arbitrage opportunity there. I'm a little surprised that the gap is still this big, and we're just a couple weeks away from the token going live.
You think if all of a sudden, and I think that it's going, I think the arbitrage is going to shrink, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be very
it kind of has to, right?
More than likely. But we've seen through the course of airdrops, through history has surprised us, right? In that when these protocols do airdrops or they move to a V2, sometimes history has said there's a very big opportunity to make money, and maybe this holds true. But I think the arbitrage shrinks. But I'm just curious to say. Now, let's just say the arbitrage opportunity, let's just say you are sitting on a massive surplus on value, right? Let's say your portfolio, you're sitting at $10,000 in your AI portfolio. All of a sudden, from 10,000, you're sitting at 25,000. You're done 2.5x your AI position, right? Whether it's Fetch or Ocean, whichever one. You pick one of the three. Now, let's just say you're up 2.5x on your position. Do you think there's a massive sell pressure when the ASI token lists? Do you think that people are going to take that profit? But we see it with airdrops. Airdrops come out.
This is not going to be an airdrop, though, Rob. It's going to.
I know, but I'm just saying the airdrop is a good indicator of what happens when retail gets gifted a bunch of money, right? Or at least retail gets gifted value, right? You're just looking in your wallet, and all of a sudden, $5,000 pop in there in an airdrop. What happens to the price of the token? Usually, in the short term, you get a lot of sell pressure, right? A lot of people are like, "Hey, man, where did this come from?" And they just take it, right? And I think that mentality, or what we've seen in the market in the past, I think this is something we might see here. So be wary on the price in the short term. Maybe in the first 72 hours, so the first 3 trading days. If people are sitting on a lot of profit they did not expect some sell pressure. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
a good opportunity to get in.
But long term, we're definitely bullish, right? I mean, I'm
absolutely. I literally said as number one call, top 100 tokens, ASI, biggest return. Now, will there be some other tokens that outperform it? Sure, in the top 100. I think there's going to be some sleepers down there in the 80s, 90s, and maybe outside the top 100 that massively outperform anything in the top 20. ASI token, where is it going to come in on the market cap list when it gets listed?
So 7.5 billion. Let's take a look.
So
7.5 billion would right now put it at right below near, so number 18.
So inside
it would trump Polygon.
So inside the top 20, this is where it's going to be listed. Yeah. So will tokens outside the top 50 outperform ASI? Sure, I agree. But I'm talking about from a risk reward upside, and the AI sector in itself is is frothy. It is frothy. The Nvidia stock just keeps going up and up. And zoom out from the crypto perspective. AI is moving very quick. Every company is using AI. The chat GPTs and all of this, the generative AI, the music, the vocals, the search engines, all the API plugins that all these websites
Rob,
have.
let me ask you, Rob, you use a lot
Photoshop.
of AI. You use a lot of AI apps. Are you seeing it getting better?
That's what I'm saying. Literally what I just said
No,
2
from
seconds
like,
ago.
from like a personal anecdote.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that if you are using technology in any way, you're seeing AI there. Whether it's at the counter at the grocery store or whether instead of talking to the robot on the State Farm website, the chat bot, you're actually talking to an AI bot, which instead of typing the same damn thing over and over again and that little chat bot that has 10 responses, instead of talking to them and that thing being confused, now you plug in an API, you plug in just a connection to Chat GPT. That's literally all it is. There's a handful of AI companies that build everything that all the companies are using. And then it just works behind the scenes in their websites, and then it looks like their AI, right? So if State Farm's AI chatbot, State Farm didn't build it. State Farm talked to Chat GPT or OpenAI, and they said, "Hey, we want our AI bot here for customer service." They just plug it in through a API plugin, and then boom, it's theirs. And so, anyways, this is touching everything that we use. And so, I don't need to sit here and sell you on AI and its potential. But all I say to you is it's ramping up, and everything around you, especially anything that touches technology, is integrating technology, and it's accelerating. There's a reason that Nvidia's price stock keeps pumping. There's a reason that is one of the best performing stocks in the last 3 years, and it's because they are at the forefront of it. And blockchain serves a very, very important purpose on AI. And it takes all of this unused or untapped or sleeping graphics cards. Your computer's sitting at home, you have a graphics card. If you got anybody in your family has a gaming computer, there's a graphic card in there.
Or if you used to mine Ethereum.
Yeah, if you used to mine Ethereum. So all of this untouched resources can easily be gathered up. You can combine all of this through a blockchain protocol, and you can start contributing to an AI to AI processing. And that's what I was saying when we started this AI conversation was the more compute power you have, the better off you are. That's why I'm so bullish on ASIs, because they're taking 3 companies, putting together all their compute power. And so when you're looking for more resources, the reason NVIDIA's price is shooting up is because they're the ones that are making all the graphics card for AI. And so their demand, there's not enough supply for their chips. So at some point, you're going to go elsewhere. Hey, somebody calls NVIDIA. Hey, we need more graphics cards, or more chips for AI. They're going to be like, we don't have any more. We sold it all, right?
You got the hardware and the software side of it, right? So hardware, obviously, NVIDIA and the other companies are making it. And then software is where,
But the software is powered by the hardware. So the hardware is sitting in your computer at home. It's sitting in your son or your daughter's computer at home for gaming.
You leave my son's computer.
It's sitting there, and it's sitting in your old Ethereum miners. It's sitting there unused. Who the hell is mining Ethereum right now? The Ethereum Classic, or what are all those graphics cards doing right now? From 2022, those graphics cards that were mining Ethereum, where are they? What are they mining? What is the big coin everybody's mining? I'm not saying they're completely unused, but realistically, it's not relevant, right? And so you're going to be incentivized, and we've seen this through Theta Network. Theta's leading the charge in this one, is that they're getting people's graphics cards online to help with the AI hardware part. And so I'm super bullish on it, man. Super bullish. There you go.
Someone we're not super bullish on is Gary. So, Robinhood got served the Wells notice, which is pretty much like, hey, we're about to sue you. Well, Robinhood just put out in public that they met with the SEC 16 times in good faith. This is Vlad Tenev said in an interview. I believe it was on CNBC. It was on CNBC. Speaking on CNBC's last call, Tenev said that the stock trading platform, quote, came in good faith to meet with the SEC. I think we met with them 16 times, and unfortunately, that was not reciprocated. He added that the regulator, quote, told us they didn't want to keep meeting about it, and they didn't see a path toward it. Hard to impute the reasoning. And then you have a company like Prometheum, who was given a special purpose broker-dealer license.
I didn't see this news, but when you opened up and said someone was given a broker license and it wasn't Coinbase and it wasn't Robinhood, I was like, I bet you it's that scam of a freaking that shell of a company that weasel.
That guy just looked like a weasel.
This company came out of nowhere. And they came up and testified in front of Congress talking about this is how you run an exchange and be SEC compliant. And nobody heard of the exchange.
Literally no one.
Like,
Literally no one.
And the fact that there's an exchange that people are using, I mean, that there's hundreds of thousands of people that have Robinhood accounts and people have, they purchase crypto on there. And there's customers for it. There's real customers. And the SEC is supposed to, protect investors, right? And so majority of the investors that are young millennials that are using the smartphone apps to buy stocks, they're using Robinhood. And yet Robinhood is going in and they meet with the SEC 16 times.
And the SEC said, we don't want to keep meeting with you. That's the funny part.
What?
Then
Trump gets asked why. Trump gets asked yesterday, why is crypto moving abroad? What are you doing? And he said, we're gonna put a stop to that. And this is exactly why. I mean, why build here when you just get sued? When you meet with the SEC 16 times, obviously go elsewhere. If I was building a crypto company, if my company depended on a token and it depended on buying and selling and order books or whatever it is, anything that touches the sale of a token, I wouldn't operate here in the U.S. I would go elsewhere, man. Maybe Portugal.
It's just sad. And the SEC essentially dragged Robinhood into this group of Coinbase and Uniswap and the people that are standing up against Gary Gensler in the SEC. And well, we know Robinhood is, again, as Rob mentioned, publicly traded company. They got a lot of resources, a lot of money. And so they're in our corner. And I just find it hard to believe that when you go in front of a judge and you say, we met 16 times, nothing came from it. They even told us to stop coming in. So how are we getting blamed? How are we getting sued? And I honestly think all the money that, and I don't know if this even happens even without, anything having to do with it, but if they go in and they beat the SEC, they should pay back all the legal fees. And do they do that, by the way? If you win a case, does the other party that lost have to pay the legal fees for you?
Or
is it just the court fees?
So the way it usually is you're suing. So if you sue somebody, usually there's a countersuit in there, and the countersuit covers legal fees.
Got it.
And so that's generally how it goes. Now, I don't know if in these SEC lawsuits, if that is what they're doing. I'm not sure, but I know for civil cases, if you sue me, it's almost standard protocol for me to countersue. The countersue is to cover my legal fees. And then I did want to give a little shout out to some of the new people. And if you're new here, last chance to get some love back at you. I got Cool Cat Coding, Cantero, Man's Shadow, and also Mr. Cheeks. To you. Hola! Welcome.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Cheeks, yeah.
Cheeks.
Ashley, what's going on over there?
What you
Awfully
think?
quiet. How you doing?
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. I'm just saying what's up. You didn't really have didn't really get too many questions out of you towards you today, other than who you voting for.
Did you
Yeah, that
find your
was.
answer? Or?
No, I'm still researching.
We do know she wants Dino Nuggets. So if anyone's out there that has a good Dino Nugget supplier, We'll send you an address to Ashley so you can send her some Dino Nuggets.
Yes, please.
That'll do it for the show today. A lot of good stuff to talk about. Guys, if you're not watching our upload videos, I would recommend you. There's a lot of good information in there. Stuff that you can take, ideas you can take from videos, resources you can use. Because in this place, this time that we're in now, where everything's kind of sideways, if you're going to rearrange your portfolio, if you're going to identify new coins to add, if you're going to identify coins to get rid of, now is the time to do it, not when Bitcoin's making all-time highs every other day, right? The time is now. We know how crypto viewership is, right? Take it from us. We run a business on YouTube. When prices are going down or when prices are chopping sideways, the viewers are not here as much as they are when the prices are going up. What's the whole point? You don't go into battle and then during battle, when everything's happening, like, okay, let's drop a plan. You drop the plan first and then you go into battle with the plan. Same idea here. And so you do that. Stay informed, watch videos, not just from our channel. There's a lot of good content creators out there that put out good videos. And so that will be my piece of advice to you watching today. So with that being said, anyone else have anything to say? Except you, Rocco. No, Ashley? Robin?
You told me not.
You're taking too long.
He just hit the outro without me turning it. If this is not an act of war, I don't know what is.
Run the credits.
Have a nice week, everybody. Ciao.
Big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.